What's going on, everybody? My name is Justice, and I'm with my guy.
Oh, it's popping. It's popping. It's your boy Tyaire. How y'all doing?
You tuned into the Silky Boys podcast, the Wavies podcast out for sports news and what's going on in the culture. Tyaire, how you feeling this week, bro?
I'm good. It was a turbulent week. We lost last week's episode because my computer almost died on me. So at least my computer's here today, and hopefully we get to post this episode. But other than that, we had a good week. How you been, bro?
I'm good, particularly because my name isn't Urban Meyer this week, so I'm feeling really good. But we're gonna touch on that in a second. But first, we gotta acknowledge something, a historical moment. Use the word culture shifting moment when talking about something else in the last podcast episode. And that's Mr. Deion Sanders and Jackson State. For those that don't know, Jackson State was able to land the number one recruit in high school football, Travis Hunter. He's the number one wide receiver and the number one cornerback. He was originally committed to FSU. He decided to decommit and follow Coach Prime down to Mississippi. This is a historical moment for college football, for HBCUs, and just for the culture in general. And this is happening in Deion Sanders' only second year as being a head coach, right after he won the SWAC championship and won Coach of the Year as well. Hearing this news this week, bro, how does that make you feel?
It just makes me feel proud and just happy that Travis Hunter took such a big step in his life at such a young age because he probably doesn't know this. Now, he might know a little bit, but what he did is going to change the future of college football for years to come. Like, this is a pivotal moment in the history of sports that we're just going to talk about for, like, it's just going to be a set point. Like, you remember when Travis Hunter shifted college football? It was that day. And I've been following him for a while now because, like you said, when I just saw a tape of him and it's like, this is the number one wide receiver and cornerback, I'm like, what do you mean and cornerback? Like, you can be good at one position, but not the other, but he was good at both. So I had to check him out. And I saw him connected to Florida State. And I was like, okay, so he wants to be a cornerback. He's going to follow that Deion route. And then I saw him in a TikTok about like 3 weeks ago with Deion Sanders' son, who's the quarterback of Jackson State, which is another reason why Deion Sanders is the GOAT. He has his son starting quarterback as a freshman, making the all-conference team as a freshman. He has his other son on the defensive tip, cracking dudes, playing safety, cornerback, following in his footsteps. And then to do this, it just shows you that it starts with us. And if Deion can do this here, we can do this in every level of every industry there is that we're not in the head of, that we're not leading. If we want to start our own movie company, Denzel Washington can go start his movie company, and every actor is going to go to that movie company because that's the greatest actor in the world. Who's better going to teach you? If you're a cornerback and want to learn how to play cornerback, who's better to teach you than Deion Sanders? And I'm glad that people in Deion Sanders' position, those GOAT level people, because when you usually get to that level, you're like, oh, I got it. I don't really need to help anybody else. It's there. And then that's how the pipeline stops. We just stop at the top and we don't bring anybody else with us. So him bringing people with us, it just is so important. And I gotta just toast Travis Hunter for doing that because it's not an easy decision to make because the facilities, the money, the experience, just the stuff you're going to get going to a Florida State as opposed to a Jackson State and Mississippi is two different things. And for you to know that, hey, my talent's going to get me where I'm going anyway. Like, I'm league bound regardless of where I go. So why not go help these people out? Why not use what I'm bringing in to do this? And with the NIL, I feel like that helps too. So I just feel like college football is into a place where players are going to start having more control and black colleges are going to be in the forefront more. And just with people like this, with Mikey Williams considering a lot of HBCUs on the basketball front, what Master P's son just did, even though he switched out of there, it just sets examples for what we need to do. And I couldn't be more proud. So shouts out to Deion and shouts out to Travis, man. And shouts out to Jackson State because y'all gonna be lit again next year. Y'all went all the way this year. Y'all was in a bowl game. Y'all lost today, but hey, y'all really didn't lose. Like when y'all got the news the other day, y'all probably didn't even care about this bowl game today. To be honest, we was like, we're good. We're good, guys. Like we have the number one player in the country. We're fine.
The future is set. You touched on Mikey Williams, which is another part of this story that I want to get into. Just reading Travis Hunter, his announcement via Instagram. I just want to read it real quick. He says, I'm making this decision so that I can light the way for others to follow and make it a little easier for the next players to recognize that HBCUs may be everything you want and more. An exciting college experience, a vital community, and a life-changing place to play football. For him at 18 years old to really recognize how special of a player he is and to recognize how much influence this is going to have on the next generation, like Mikey Williams is doing for the basketball, is just really special and it's really freaking cool to see. And now with him going into an HBCU in Jackson State, this is obviously going to have the trickle down effect. There's a 7th grader and 8th grader who's probably really good at ball, who's being looked at ACC teams and SEC teams. He's getting looked at by Auburn, Alabama, Clemson, so on and so forth. But they're looking at Travis Hunter and say, wait, he was the number 1 guy of his class, and he decided to go to an HBCU. Maybe I want to do that. This story would have already been a major story had they landed the number 10, the number 5 group. But the fact that that's a number 1, it speaks heavy volumes to what type of program Deion Sanders is building down there, and what kind of narrative is trying to be changed about HBCU. Most people don't know this, but back in the day, HBCUs were a pipeline for NFL players. They were at one point. That's obviously been overtaken by some of these other big football programs. But back in the day, they produced. Jackson State, one of their alumni was the late great Walter Payton. That should say something about that. So I'm just really glad to see that he was able to recognize this moment and really being not afraid of it too. Just taking it head on and just being a catalyst for change later down the road. I think it really speaks to him. It speaks to his character, and yeah, this was really cool to see.
Yeah, definitely, man. So I'm excited. I'm gonna be watching a lot of FBS football next year. So let's go, man. Deion, keep it going, bro. Just keep Brittany Renner out the locker room. That's the only problem I have with that whole situation over there. Keep her out the locker room. Like, okay, we know what a thought is. This is a thought. They will try to take you for all of your money. Like, we know that. Dudes want to fuck with us. They want to give their life away. You don't have, if they want to mess with a thought, they're gonna mess with a thought. Everybody knows who a thought is. Like, you don't have to explain the ins and outs of what a thought is. Like, whoever's gonna mess with the thought probably hit her up after the interview. They're like, that's why how Travis got there, to be honest. That's probably how Travis got there. Let's keep it a buck.
Be like, wait, Brittany Ryder was an alumni? Wait, hold on, who else went here?
On the soccer team? Like, whoa, this that's the type of women that's here. Yeah, bro. Go down there. I would blast, my boy.
No, I feel what you're saying. Like, obviously, 20 to 25-year-olds, they gonna know what a thought is. Like, we all know. Like, we all have Instagram. We know what that looks like. We know what type of plays they be making. We can see it from a mile away. But like him, it was more so the gesture. That was more the bigger thing. Like, okay, he actually cares about these guys' future, and for them to not really get caught up in situations like that. But like you said, there are going to be a couple of knuckleheads in that room that were just like, so what's up?
Exactly. Like, your son might interrupt you. You might need to check your son, bro. I'm like, yo,
check that bush phone, bro. All right, let's really get into it now. Let's really get into it right now.
Am I a prophet or am I a prophet, ladies and gentlemen? Like, I'm gonna pull up a clip from a couple weeks back and like the beginning of the season. Everything that played out this whole season with the Jacksonville Jaguars, I called 3 months back. But I introduced the topic, my good friend.
Urban Meyer is fired. He got fired. He's out of Jacksonville. Yeah, that boy's gone, just out of there. And this is immediately the same day that an alleged story came out from his former kicker, Josh Lambo, saying that in training camp, Josh Lambo was missing kicks. He was struggling a little bit. And Urban Meyer came over to him and said, hey, dipshit, make your fucking kicks, and proceeded to kick his kicker in his kicking leg, in the same leg that he had a hamstring injury that he was dealing with the previous season. This move by Shad Khan and ownership is just simply, we've had enough. In his 13 games of being an NFL head coach, I don't know if any head coach in all sports has more controversy in 13 games than Urban Meyer Jaguars. I mean, this was just a colossal failure for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Obviously, they thought they had the guys. Shad Khan said, "Hey, I got this one right," but hindsight is always 2020. You got this one really wrong, man. So now the process begins of who is going to be the next head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. But just sticking with Urban Meyer, I mean, like I said, just a colossal failure where you just read about the things that he was doing for players, berating his coaches, not really paying attention to who was on the squad, basically saying with the James Robinson incident, basically saying that, oh yeah, that's up to the position coach whether he wants to keep him into the game or not. But you're the head coach. When Trevor Lawrence, a rookie, your star rookie quarterback, your franchise quarterback has to go out in his first year in the media and say, yeah, we kind of need him on the field because he's one of our best players. Like, those things shouldn't be happening whatsoever.
I mean, it's a few layers to this. First, on the running back tip, it's just like we knew this coming in. Like, my boy, you drafted a college running back. And then you're like, yeah, this is our running back in the first round, but we're not going to use him as a running back. We're going to use him as a wide receiver. And then you had 2 first round picks. You use one, on course, your generational talent. Everybody's going to pick that pick. Everybody knew that. And you had a slew of people there. I think Elijah Moore might have still been on the board at that point. You had a couple of receivers that you could have took at that point, but you decided to take a running back when you had a 1,000-yard rusher in his rookie season as an undrafted rookie sitting there, but you decided to take a running back from college that you weren't going to use out of running back. So essentially, you wasted a pick. So you do that coming into training camp. You say that Trevor Lawrence is in a quarterback competition with Gardner Minshew. Gardner Minshew was there all the training camp. At the end of training camp, you trade him, and like we didn't all know that Trevor Lawrence was going to be a starting quarterback for the Jaguars at the beginning of the season. And on cherry top, you bring Tim Tebow in during the training camp just to create a spectacle so everybody can see that you don't know what you're going on. And the main reason I knew this wasn't going to work is, Urban, you are coaching grown men. You are not coaching college kids that you can kick like Josh Lambo, that you can slap around saying, oh, you're not getting the Mustang today if you don't run these laps. Like, these guys all have Mustangs, Urban. They don't need your money. They don't need you to take them to your mansion to swim at the pool with the girls. They have all that. So your big father influence that you hold over these players, it doesn't translate. And your main thing as a coach was your offensive mind. And the offense, the whole time we've been watching your games, has been running terribly. And it's like, so if you're not doing the field right and the whole operation off the field is wrong, what are we keeping you here? You lose a game, you like, yo, guys, I'm feeling a little sick, man. I'm gonna catch y'all. Y'all get on playing back. I'm not gonna come with y'all. And then we see you lapped up at a bar with somebody that's not your wife. Like, it's just so many signs that prove that he should have got a coaching job. And I feel like the biggest sign in Urban Meyer's career why he should not receive a coaching job ever again is he's the guy who found Aaron Hernandez. Like, he founded Aaron Hernandez and brought it. Like, if he found something in that guy, maybe he's wicked too. Like, maybe these guys are two peas in the pod that we just never knew about. So, Urban, I don't know what's next for you. You're gonna probably be on Fox in 2 weeks, just doing the same thing you do. If another coaching job in college opens up, you'll probably be considered for it. But as far as NFL, you're done here. You're never coming back here. Like, you had your run. And to all the media, how far worse off is Trevor now if he was going to get drafted by the Jets, if the Jets had the number 1 pick? How far off bad would that have been now? Because it looks like he's going to have 2 head coaches in his first 2 seasons as a quarterback. So I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but it doesn't sound good. But all the media that said Trevor should not want to go to the Jets, I bet he was hoping he was on the Jets right now. I bet you he was like, yo, I maybe should have, maybe I should have forced my way there because this is not looking good. And as far as who the Jaguars hire next, I don't even know who they should hire next. Like, I don't even know how you can fix this. Like you need somebody that can really shift the culture. You can't get somebody like, "Ooh, I like how he runs the offense. Let me bring him here." He's not gonna fix the culture that's here. Like he cannot fix it. You need somebody like a real groove. You might have to tap into an old NFL coach and just throw it back and just get somebody that knows how to reset something. That's probably what they have to do next. What you think, though?
Yeah, that would definitely be the way to go because now this next coaching hire is the most important in Jaguars history. You cannot screw this one up. If you screw this one up, you might as well just sell the franchise and take it somewhere else. Like I'm serious. Like you can't screw this up 2 times in a row with a generational talent like Trevor Lawrence. He was in a bad, toxic, dysfunctional situation in his first year, right? And the guy that you brought in to fix the culture ended up damaging it even more by the time he left. Mind you, he didn't even finish the full season.
He didn't finish the season, bro.
So this next hire, they have to get right. Like you said, I don't know who that is. They have an early look right now, but still with there being like a handful of games left, they can scout, do their homework early, start recruiting early. Whether maybe this is Brian Dable's chance to get a head coaching position. Maybe
I think he missed the spot 1 year too early.
I'm just naming names like Brian Dable. Maybe definitely not someone for college anymore. I don't think they're gonna go the college route. But who else are they realistically gonna get? This next hire is really going to be, like I said, just really important, but it's also going to be a tough hire for trying to figure out, okay, which one of these is actually going to work. And the only way to know is taking a swing and see where your franchise looks in the next couple of years. So, I mean, we'll see with that. Real quick, I just want to, because Urban Meyer, he did come out, he did finally break his silence. I don't know if you saw this, but he did kind of issue an apology to Jacksonville. He says, I want to apologize to Jacksonville. I love Jacksonville. It's one of the reasons I took the job. I still think Shad Khan is a great owner. It's heartbreaking. I just had a dream of it becoming a destination with a new facility he agreed to build, and someday to walk into that stadium where it's standing room only. Because I know how bad the people of Jacksonville want it, so I'm just heartbroken that we weren't able to do that. I still believe it's going to be done. It's too good of a place for that. And he later on goes on to say, I tell people losing eats away at your soul. Once you start losing, it's hard on everybody. I thought at one point when we won 2 out of 3, there was some momentum, great energy. The defense was playing really well. We were running the ball, and then when that dried us up, and then we started turning the ball over. Then we had our bye week. Then James Robinson got injured. And then when talking about his style of coaching, he said, you push people really hard to find their greatness, but you treat them like gold, he said. I thought that's what we're going to do, and we're going to win. It was really going good for a while. That last quote might be the most laughable quote I think I've ever heard, because clearly at no point this was ever going well. Clearly at no point your players responded to you well. It was never going good from the jump. Because you touched on it, these are grown men. These are grown men getting paid that are supporting their families. These are not 17, 18-year-old kids where you have all the leverage in the world. You have all the power in the world because they barely have anything in that locker room. No, these guys are professional athletes. You cannot treat them like they're kids. And that's why there was a separation and tension within the locker room, because this supposed culture changer, couldn't relate to them, couldn't treat them with equal respect of being a man, first and foremost. And that goes along with his coaches too. The fact that he was berating his coaches and making his coaches defend their resumes to them basically being on the staff with him, I find completely laughable, because Urban Meyer, this is your first stint. This is your first stint. They've had assistants in the position groups on the defense and offensive coordinators. They've been in the league for a minute. They've seen the NFL. They've won a couple of games. They've had a couple of winning seasons. You haven't done jack shit in your first year as an NFL coach. So what the hell gives you the right to really bash those guys and make them prove your resume to you? Oh, what you did in college? Oh, okay, guess what? You got away in college because of the athletes that you had. Guess what, Urban? It's really easy to win in college if you can recruit well. That's half the battle right there. So
And plus another half about it is just being at the right school. Sometimes you don't have to recruit if you're at the right school, bro. You're at Florida and then Ohio State. You don't have to recruit anybody to Ohio State. People want to come to Ohio State, my guy.
Like it's the brand itself. The brand,
like,
yeah, you don't even have to recruit that hard. It's the brand itself. They think the Ohio State. I want to come. What young wide receiver? What young quarterback wouldn't want to go to the Ohio State? Like seriously, come on now. Anyway, this was a really humbling moment for Urban Meyer. Good riddance. He should never be an NFL head coach again. Like you said, he's going to get a job on Fox in the next 2 or 3 weeks talking about football and stuff like that. Honestly, I hope when that does happen, the announcers take subtle shots at them here and there because he should eat this for a while.
Like, I want him to cover every Jaguars topic. That's what I want. I want every time there's a Jaguars topic on screen, bring Urban up. Like, how you feel about this, Urban? What do you think the team should do in this situation? Like, when I was talking to those guys, they didn't listen. So I don't really know what they should do. Like, I'm clueless, guys.
Nah, I feel like he really should go through the ringer because there's like honestly, it was just such a bad tenure, 10 years. And now I bring up this question: was this the worst head coach in NFL history? Did we just win it?
I'm partial because I'm a Gaze guy. Gaze skipped Thanksgiving to game plan with his family, and then they lost 24-0. So I was like, "What'd you game plan, bro?" Because Gaze blew up 2 organizations. You blow up 2 organizations in the same division, you kind of got the title, bro. Like you might have the title. Like if Urban flips around and goes to the Texans next year, and then goes even more crazy, then I'm like, all right, Urban, he's the guy. But Gaze went back to back, same division. I'm gonna fuck up both of these teams. So I think Adam Gaze got to be the worst coach of all time.
I agree with you that Gaze is up there, but I think Meyer just because for 5 years as a head coach, Adam Gaze, he never had this many controversies come out in one season. Not this.
Because he wasn't doing anything. That's why he's a terrible.
Yeah, he wasn't doing that, but still, he still like things didn't leak out the way that they did. Like, you know what I mean? At least like players weren't really speaking to me about his job performance, at least until later on. You know what I mean? Again, all this happened to Urban Meyer in his first year, in his first 5 games. So that's just how I look at it. But yeah, Urban Meyer, good riddance, bro. Yeah, good riddance. Anyway, moving on. The boy's back. The boy is en route to coming back. Kyrie Irving is returning to basketball very, very soon. The return is going to be delayed, obviously, because the league, both the NFL, NBA, and just the entire world just dealing with an increase of just coronavirus and Omarion variant and all that. Everybody out there, stay safe. Do what you gotta do to protect yourselves. It seems like every team in the NBA has at least like 3 to 5 players that are in health and safety protocol. If you're the Bulls and Nets in that particular case, that number is up to 8. Right about now, 8 or 9. I was just looking at the Nets are playing the Magic tonight, and I was just looking at the injury report. It's literally their entire team. It's literally their entire team, and Kyrie Irving is a part of that, of course. But when Kyrie does get back, this is going to be a much-needed boost for the Brooklyn Nets. KD, he's been on a tear in the last week and a half, playing at a MVP form right now for him. It's him and Steph Curry as far as the MVP is concerned. You can throw Jokic in there if you want, but those guys are just playing at just a ridiculous level right now. And also, I think they need just because Harden, he's turned it up in recent weeks here and there. He started looking more like the Harden that we're used to seeing. But they still obviously need Kyrie, and KD came out and said that too in the early portion of the season, saying that we do miss him and his skills to this team.
Yeah, man, it's definitely going to be good for them to get them back for half the games they got. It's just going to be interesting to see how that chemistry is, just knowing like Steve Nash is going to have to set up 2 different game plans. All right, this is a road game plan, and this is our home game plan. So that's going to be like weird to see how they maneuver through that. But it's definitely, I feel like Kyrie's going to come back really hungry and just on some kill time. Like I'm going at everybody that was talking shit about me, anybody that had anything to say, because really, what do we criticize him for if we're letting him back right now? Like, if everything happened, what it was he criticized for? But I feel like they're going to be fine, and like you said, it's definitely going to give KD a break because I feel like the way it was going, he might have burned out sooner or later because it was reminding me a lot of how that 2019 playoff run was looking. We were just like, yo, let's just get KD the ball and let's really just get out the way and let him work. And that, as we saw, wasn't healthy on him because he was just doing a lot. And then even last year, not saying that he might get injured, even last year, it can gas him. Like we saw in game 7 where he didn't score any points in the overtime. He was airballing. And just when he's doing all that, it's going to wear down on him eventually. So it's good that they did this now because midway through the season, who would almost midway through the season, who would have know what happened? But yeah, right now, KD, Steph, they 1 and 2 right now. I'll probably put KD a little bit over Steph right now, just over his last week, the 50 ball the other night. And Steph been in the struggle a little bit because he was chasing the record. But it's gonna be fun, man. It's definitely gonna be a fun playoff time. It's gonna be hard for me rooting for my two favorite players in the finals because that's what it looks like it's gonna come down to. I feel like the NBA is really trying to gonna make that work. That's gonna be the storyline they're gonna try to push this year. I feel like they're like, all right, Brian, we can't help you this year. Like Anthony Davis, he's not gonna wake up anytime this year, Brian. So like, we're sorry, my guy. It's just not it. Oh yeah, and shout out to Steph for breaking the record, man.
Yeah, sorry,
Bro.
He already had the title for most as the greatest shooter of all time. For him personally, he just wanted to have this record to really acknowledge it, and for him to really say that about himself. This is really just kind of just long overdue. I feel like for him, as far as like him recognizing that title, just because everyone around him, even the greats like Reggie Miller, said like the way the ability, the shooting ability of this guy is something otherworldly, something that we frankly just never seen. Like we've seen good shooters, but we haven't seen shooters that can make shots with the level of difficulty that he makes on a regular basis. You know, and kind of in that night in Madison Square Garden, it was a surreal night. Call timeout right after he hit it. The Garden really embraced him. That was really great to see. I remember watching that and really literally clapping for about 3 minutes just because, how can you not appreciate greatness of what you see and what this guy has meant for the game, revolutionizing the game the way that he does. And also I started thinking too after that, okay, what's next for this guy? Like he still has a lot more in the tank left. Like, he's not done yet. He's just gonna, keep winning, keep putting up ridiculous stats, keep making ridiculous threes here and there. The real question for him, the next milestone is, can he get to 5,000 career threes? That's going to be the next one. I think he's in a good spot to do that. He's going to break 3,000 this year. He can break 4,000 in the next 3 to 4 years, depending on where that goes, depending on health and obviously how many shots he gets up. But I think he's really going to put this record in just another atmosphere where I don't think anybody's going to be able to reach.
Yeah, man. For me overall, man, that night was just a surreal, like full circle moment to me. Cause like when I first started liking Steph, when I started rooting for him, is when he dropped 54 on the Knicks. It was like, okay, like I hate the Knicks because my father's a Knicks fan. And just Knicks fans, I'm like, why do y'all like these niggas that just throw shit in your face? So anybody that's gonna kill the Knicks, I like. When Mike killed the Knicks, I like it. When Kobe was killing the Knicks, I love it. And when Steph did, I'm like, who is this little light-skinned dude out here going crazy 54 in the Garden? So he's in my radar then. And then that's when I was like, all right, he's one of the players I'm gonna root for. And for him to double back in the Garden, the mecca of basketball, to break this record, it was just like, wow, like I saw something. I was like, the Garden probably was the only other road place that would have gave him the same energy that he would have got at the Chase Center. Like that was the only place that would have like recognized that moment. Like now we got to clap it up. Like we birthed this kind of thing, and for him to come here and do that, like we got to do it. Like it doesn't matter who would have been. And I feel like it would have happened like that. So for Steph to do that is crazy. And just as far as what's next, that's even more scary because like Steph is still a primary ball handler. Like, what are we gonna do when Steph is just a spot up shooter? When James Wiseman and Kuminga are the stars of the Warriors? What are we gonna do when Steph is 37, 38, just coming in the games, knocking down four to five threes in the game? Like, what is that gonna be like when Steph? Like, so as far as 5,000, if he keeps his body healthy, I feel like it's no reason why he shouldn't get there because shooting's the last thing that goes for a player. So I feel like he'll be able to play it to like maybe 38, 39, and probably get two more rings out of it. I feel like he would probably finish around 5 rings. I feel like. So Steph, man, he's gonna go down in the top 5, man. If you don't want to believe that, man, that's on you, man. I already said I used to get killed when I said he's one of the players that remind me close to Mike. Like he just has a Mike-like feeling when he's on the court. Mike was a skinny, slender dude, but the game just filled to stop around him. Like nobody could stop Mike. Like it'll be a 6'9" dude, buff as shit, but Mike is in front of him and he doesn't know what to do with it. Steph is 6'3", 195 pounds, but the biggest guy could guard him, and it's just like I can't do nothing. Like he's unstoppable to guard. So like when Steve Kerr said that, I'm like, yes, they just the feeling, the aura they have when they're on the court. They're the only two players I really ever seen that with. Like it's just weird to me. So shout out to Steph, man, and it was just a great night. History. That was a great historic moment, man. And I feel like if LeBron gets to Kareem, I feel like that's gonna be a crazy moment too. Like I just want to see what that would be like because nobody ever thought that would happen. So I want LeBron to stay healthy and get to that, bro.
Yeah, that'll definitely be a moment. Real quick, just going back to Steph. Like when you talk about like most like electric players in the league, like he's at the very top of that. Like when a guy like dudes get hot here and there. Like we've seen like Kyle Korver get hot and get like what 11 points within like a minute span against the Bucks. We've seen guys like even Clay. We've seen him get hot and what that looks like. But when Steph gets hot, it's a different type of energy. It's a different type of aura, like you said, when this guy gets it going. And he's been like probably the most entertaining player to watch because not only just for his shooting ability, but just the wizardry with the ball, the way that he's able to shake and bait guys, the way he's able to create his own shot, the way that he's able just to get to a spot, and if there's even an inch of breathing room, he's gonna pull it. And for anybody else in the league, that would be a terrible shot. The coach would be ready to take him out. He has the luxury to do it because we've seen it go in time and time and
I
time.
always say this, like when you say if anybody else in the league, I always say it's at least 2 or 3 times in a game where I'm questioning Steph's mental health. I'm like, you're not all the way right in the head. Like for you to take that shot, you have some serial killer tendencies in you. Like, why did you shoot that shot on that man like that? Like you tried to demoralize this man's life, bro. Like something's wrong with you.
Yep.
Like,
like, I mean, like he does, and people like he's the babyface assassin. Like people think like, oh, light skinned dude has a baby. What is he gonna do? No, he really is a killer on the court. Like, do not try him because he will calmly drop 12 points on your head before you even know. You're like, damn, what the hell happened? And also, real quick, just touching on his story too. This is a guy that wasn't heavily recruited out of high school, who has been told his own life that he couldn't make it. You know, people say, you know, at best he might be like a decent backup or like a decent starter for a few years, and that's it. Nobody ever expected him to be, you know, the revolutionary player that he was, to be, you know, one of the best players ever, and probably now we're starting to have the conversation of best point guard ever. You know, no one ever predicted that for Steph. This is a guy that just did it. Not didn't base it around his athleticism, but just did it around, you know, his skills, just getting better, time in, time out again. You know, so Steph is the people's champion. You know,
yeah.
so
Steph, yeah, like Steph and Kobe's story kind of mirror each other a lot. Like just how they had to come up, like, oh, our fathers were both in the league, but they weren't the best. But we have the tools to learn for what they couldn't do right in the league and build off of that and become an all-time great. And that's kind of why I fuck with them so much. Like they could have said like, oh, my father in the league, I don't really have to work for nothing. Like I'm cool. I could just be whatever I want. I'm gonna have money really for my life. But they was like, no, I want to do this on my own. Like, and now when I look and see like all the NBA players just in the crowd or like before the games with their kids, I'm like, oh, I see Julius Randle with his son just dapping up with NBA players. I'm like, oh, that could be the next Steph. Or like, oh, that could be the next Kobe. Like we just seen it as little. Now I'm like, no, they're mingling. Like that's what Steph was. He was, oh, I'm here with Vince Carter. I'm here with Muggsy Bogues. And then look what he became. So like I just always think about that. And now I just like, oh, that little kid could be the next Steph right now, bro. So it's just a great story with he just explained like you can do this too. And that's why I feel like he's important for the league because he gave the little guy a chance that they didn't have before.
Yeah, definitely. Again, just shout out to Steph. Real quick, you mentioned it before, just talking about the Lakers. Lakers season is over at this point. Anthony Davis is out for at least 4 weeks with a sprained MCL injury. They brought back Isaiah Thomas just out of desperation because they needed more shooting and playmaking ability from the guard spot. And let's also talk about the fact that LeBron is still going to miss some time this year. Like he's still going to miss anywhere from 10 to 15 more games this year, just for maybe not even for injury, but just maintenance and just getting his body right for the playoffs. But seeing this Anthony Davis news come out today, they can pretty much wrap it up. Like at this point.
Oh man, it's in the same line of why I wasn't trying to talk about them this season. Like we knew what this season was going to be from the minute they signed Russ, from the minute they did. I said, come December, we're going to hear, Russ trade talks is bubbling, and coming home all last week we were hearing, the Lakers will be willing to look for a trade with this, and this. So it's just like at a certain point, it's like, Bron, you have to take responsibility for this, bro. You have to sit down and bite the bullet. You thought you were going to be the guy to save Russell Westbrook. You want to be the guy to fix Russell Westbrook. No, you cannot. You cannot do everything. You know what you need for a team to be successful. You need shooters and defense. That's what you need to win. Coming into the season, what did y'all do? The exact opposite. The Miami Heat weren't good because y'all were good because y'all had D Wade, Chris Bosh, and you. But y'all were also good because y'all were one of the best defensive teams. Y'all had the most fast break points during that time. And y'all were, like I said, defending. Y'all had Shane Battier, all type of defenders on that team. Who is defending on this team? Isaiah Thomas is not defending anybody. Russell Westbrook is not defending anybody. AD is getting babied by Karl Anthony Towns. Like, Karl Anthony Towns doesn't look up to him. Like what are we doing? Like,
yo.
So
go ahead, bro.
No, you got it, bro. I can't even do it. Like, I knew from the moment LeBron came to this team, this is how it was going to end. Now we're going to be with Anthony Davis and nobody else. It's just going to be AD chilling on the team, doing nothing.
Yeah, because like Anthony Davis, when he's healthy and when he gets it going, he is, of course, one of the best players in the league. But at this point in his career, he's supposed to be in his prime right now. He's struggling. So now drawing out questions like, okay, yeah, he's a great player, but is he a franchise guy that you really win a championship around? It seems like now that's not going to be the case. It seems like he is a Robin that needs a Batman. I was listening to a podcast earlier this week that I was talking about that very same thing about what are the Lakers going to look like when LeBron retires and essentially AD doesn't have that big bro right beside him. Like, because that's what LeBron has been for these past couple of years with him with Lakers. A guy that's, his big brother, the guy to put his arm around and say, hey, this is what you need to do, coaching him up on the sidelines, But also this year in particular, it was supposed to be a transition year, like we've been saying this entire time when Anthony Davis got traded to the Lakers. Eventually, it's going to come to a point where LeBron's going to retire, and this is going to be Anthony Davis' team. So what is he going to look like when he's, again, supposed to be the best player on the team? The only time that we've seen that one was when he was with the Pelicans. And yeah, they got in the playoffs that 1 year, but that was only 1 year. And he was playing out of his mind. Mm-hmm. And now this year, where he's struggling, he's still putting up stats, but he's struggling from the field right now. If he doesn't have a team that really complements him the way that Pelicans team did, and with DeMarcus Cousins still playing at his prime, where do the Lakers go? What are the Lakers going to do? And again, this has been a repeated question we've been talking about on this podcast, on other podcasts, and other media outlets ever since the summer. Ever since the summer, maybe even going back to last year. So now it just seems like everything has just, not come to fruition in a sense, but everything's kind of just come back around. We're having this same conversation just over and over and over again. And Lakers season is just kind of done for right now. So, if y'all get in the playoffs, look forward to that first round next. Like, that's all I can really say.
It's a sad time in LA, man. Hey, the Rams might get it done for y'all, but as far as the Lakers, they're not doing shit for y'all this year, my boy.
I mean, I am happy that Isaiah Thomas is getting some run.
But I'm not happy for y'all to sign him to the Lakers so he could be another point of blame. Like, let him go to a team where he could have just got his back in the league and just coast into this. Now he got mad pressure for this, bro. Now they expect him to go drop 30. No,
And it's like, and part of it too, because now Lakers fans are gonna look to Isaiah as kind of being some of the solution.
Right.
And it's like, bro, like Isaiah Thomas is a good player. He deserves to play in the league, but he's not going to be the answer. You'll have too many problems for one guy to answer. And guess what? Isaiah Thomas is not that guy to answer all those problems.
At all.
Like, and yeah, like I said, one way or another, all this blame is gonna be put back on Isaiah. It's gonna be put back on Russ. It's gonna be put on AD. It already has been, for a few weeks. But let's face it, like let's be real. Let's have a real conversation. Where does this blame go to? It goes to LeBron in the front office. Because at the end of the day, you can say that was all Rob Pelinka, but again, Rob Pelinka is not doing any of those moves without consulting LeBron, bro. Because we all know who's pulling the strings behind the scenes, bro. We all know who that.
Bro,
let's keep it a buck, bro.
This was Rob Pelinka's deal. Rob Pelinka was running the team as a real GM manager would run. His deal was, I have this Buddy Hield deal on place. Kuzma said it. I was planning to go to Sacramento. Like, I was planning that. Mr. Bron James came to him and said, no, I feel like Russ, we can make it real for Russ. I can do it. Trust me, I can do it. And that's all that needed to be done. And that's what happened. So I'm not giving Rob Pelinka any blame. It's strictly LeBron. I'm not giving AD no blame because AD is saying whatever LeBron is saying. It's strictly on LeBron thinking he can save everything when, bro, in this situation, you're in year 19, you're 37, 38. We don't need you to save right now. We just need you to coast to the playoffs and then turn up in the playoff time. We didn't need you to come save Russell Westbrook at 31 years old. It's past that. Like, it's past of saving him. It's no saving with him.
And like, also, like, did y'all really have to blow up last year's team? Because that was a core that y'all won championship with. A championship that you won based off defense, playmaking the half court from you and Anthony Davis, getting the fast breaks. Y'all got bounced in the first round to a hot Suns team, but y'all also facing injuries too. Like, Anthony Davis didn't play a couple of those games, and he really just didn't take over. There was really no need to blow up this situation. Yeah, Alex Caruso was going to be a free agent. You're going to have to pay him, but pay that guy. Because now we're seeing, like, hey, he could really help the Lakers right now. Could help the Lakers out big time right now. But, hey, you want to blow it up? You want to mortgage your future all for Russell Westbrook? Good luck with that. So now we're seeing that. Anyway, I'm done talking about this topic right now. We spent way too much time on this.
Thanks, man.
All right. What's been going on in the culture, bro? Like, what's been going on?
What's been going on? Let me see. I don't even know. You see the new Spider-Man? That's what's been going on in culture. You see?
I have not yet. I've been hearing rave reviews about it, saying that's the best Marvel movie of all time. Maybe at some point I'll get around to seeing it, but right now I have not. But I definitely do have some intrigue in go seeing that. Actually, I did see one. The Hall of Famer and Giants legend Lawrence Taylor was arrested. Did see that down in Florida.
Yeah.
And like I had no idea. I had no idea he was a registered sex offender.
Yeah, it got sticky, weird. It got weird quick. I'm like, LT, I don't want to know this information about you. Like, it's gonna dim my light on your legendness. I'm like, Bill Belichick, you know about this, my guy? You knew he was fucking.
Apparently, and I didn't know. I had no idea what was going on. I saw the headline. I said, what? And I started reading the article and all of his past, not even allegations, but the past crimes that he committed, and not even cocaine user back when he played.
I knew coke. I knew the coke. I knew he was doing coke in a locker room, but this is like when I got the call, the Karl Malone news. I'm like,
apparently he was talking to someone that was around the age of 16 back in 2010, 2011, something like that. He got caught up. And so now he's a registered sex offender, and he changed his address, and that was the reason why he was arrested in Florida. Because as a registered sex offender, you're supposed to give notice to authorities about an address change. And whenever you go into a new county, a new city, you have to go to the police department and say, "Hey, I am a registered sex offender." So this was kind of wild to see. Again, just as someone that didn't know really about LT's past commitments. Yeah, just kind of wild to see, and it's like, damn, Like LT was a wild boy on the field, but he may have been even wilder off the field. So
Yeah, man. Shout out to Phil Sims, man. I don't know. I'm just saying anything right now. I'm confuffled. These legends will disappoint you. Sometimes I wish we never figured out about these guys. Like I don't even know about your highlights anymore, my guy.
So when you find out your heroes are like sometimes scumbags on the low, they just doing some wild shit. It really does change your perspective. That damn, you
like man, I am a R&B lover, and I can't listen to the greatest R&B catalog of all time. You don't have to tell me about it, my guy. You don't have to tell me about it, my guy. You don't. It's just you just gotta eat it and just like fuck it. Can't do it. I can't listen. Can't do it. But yo, Jacquees, go re-record them songs. You like recording shit. Go redo them shit, my boy. Like
you like doing it, fucking go for it, bro. He'll be alright. He'll be cool.
He ain't going nowhere. He can't get to you. That nigga doing yoga and shit.
Nah. He definitely still got nice. He can't get to you. That boy can definitely still be touched. Like,
who's touching? Nobody. He don't got no shooters no more, man. His roommate had him.
He has a whole clan and code, bro.
Of women, man. Women ain't gonna attack that. That's the sickest part of everything. Women, like y'all be trying to get at me, but y'all is the real sickos in this world. The stuff y'all support, the niggas y'all like, I'm like, can y'all ever get mad at me? Like, if one of those fans got mad at me for doing, I'm like, man, please shut the fuck up. Like, please don't talk to me. Don't say anything to me. You outside saying free this man. Like, you don't have a catalog, a IMDb of evidence for you not to say that. But this is what these people like to dance their feet, man. And the tune slaps. So when you make slappers,
we can look past sometimes.
And that's why I even had to look at myself when I came. That's why I'm kind of glad the pod got erased last week, because I came on here. I don't know the full story, anything. I think both of these motherfuckers lying. That's my stance now. I think both sides are lying. But I came in here, I'm like, yo, that Tory album was fire. And then I remember Step in the Name of Love and all those songs was released in the middle of his trial. That nigga dropped his best album in the heat of controversy. I'm like, I can't fall for this right now. I can't fall for this right now. Like, if you know you got some shit that you did and you might be away for a while, you might put in your best work. So that's all I'm gonna say. That you might give it your all. Like that, they look at it as a black album. Like, I'm not gonna be out here for long. So let me just drop this classic real quick and dip out.
Let me go ahead and just give the people my best work, because I might not be able to be that is wild. It makes sense, but that's still wild to think about.
It is. Like, when you're thinking on that tip, I'm like, all right, the nigga might be guilty then, because this album is fire. So I'm gonna listen to it until I find out the verdict. Until
that time comes, in my headphones, in my speakers, until that moment. When they announce the verdict, the day of the verdict, I'm like, shit.
This nigga here, man.
I mean, I knew he was guilty, but fuck.
You can't use paintballs or something, and you don't got water guns, nigga. Like, weren't you at a pool party, nigga? Bring the water gun, man.
No, I just remember something now. I just got it, bro. Quote, this is the headline, right? So, like, you know, like, you're not familiar, but like, you know about the metaverse?
Yes.
You know about it? Okay. So this is a headline. Meta apparently launched an investigation after a woman said she was groped by a stranger in the metaverse.
We don't deserve to be here, bro. We don't deserve a place on this world. Like, we don't. What? Nigga, like, that's like a nigga on GTA Online be like, I would like to report a murder by Mr. Tyaire Joseph. He killed me last night on GTA. Can you please come arrest us? No! Like, no, this is not how this works. No. Let the sickos get their shit off on the game. Cause I'd rather the game than in real life. Like, I'd rather the game than real life. Let them get their shit off on the game, man. Cut it out, man. Cut it out, bro. Just cut it out. I don't even have anything to say, bro. Like, who are we contacting? Like, who's cybersecurity? Who does this? Like,
I don't know. Like, that's why I'm like, bro. Like, are we really serious? Is this what society is about to look like in the metaverse right now? Even though it's something that happened virtually online, it didn't happen in a physical matter, in a physical plane, where we do have laws that we have to follow, and there are things that we can and cannot do. We're apparently, if we do something in the metaverse, we're going to be charged for that in real life. The fuck? If that, honestly, realistically, if that was the case, every fucking kid that played GTA should be arrested.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what
the fuck? Like, what the fuck are we talking about, bro? Like, and my thing is this: in a court of law, like, how the fuck is this supposed to go in a court of law if it does allegedly like a trial, bro? Like, what the fuck are we gonna do? Like, really? My avatar was broken in the universe, but were you physically harmed? Were you physically touched? No. Where were you? I was behind my computer. I was behind my computer when it happened. So
bro.
no one touched you physically. No, it was just my avatar.
I'll give pushback if the metaverse becomes like that Black Mirror episode. If the metaverse becomes like that, I'm like, you got a point then, because them two niggas, they said they felt some shit they never felt before. So if the metaverse have them niggas doing like that, then hey, you might have a case because he fell in love with his best friend. So I don't know. That's still the sickest episode of television I ever watched, bro. Bro,
the fact that was my first episode of Black Mirror.
That's the only Black Mirror episode I've ever watched, bro. The only one I've ever watched, bro. So I'm like, nah, you gotta watch this. Son from Captain America is wilding on me. I'm like, what's Sam on here doing? Nigga, I click it now. I'm like, oh, what these niggas fucking right? Like, they fucking
right. They was fucking in the metaverse.
And then did they make a and then did his wife make a compromise with the nigga after this so they can continue fucking? Like, what? I haven't watched Captain America and the Winter Soldier. I haven't watched none of that shit. I haven't watched 8 Mile again. I haven't watched none of that shit since I watched that episode. I'm like, nah, I'm cool. I'm cool, man.
Oh man, that is funny.
He Captain America now. Now bring racist ass Steven Rogers back. I'm cool. I'm cool off that. I'm cool off that.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. All right, well, let's get into new music. Roddy Rich dropped "Live Life Fast," 3rd studio album. How you feel about it, bro?
Off of like 2nd, 3rd listen, it's a good album, man. Roddy came back and he promised what he was gonna do, man. He's just in that bag of, and he said on the album, bro. He said, I took a break. I'll let y'all have a spot, but I'm back now. Like, it's mine, and that's what this album was. And just off the first few listens, my favorite tracks off the album, I like the little Crash the Party joint. I like the No Way with Jamie when he was rapping and it switched over. And then I like Everything You Need. That sample is crazy. I'm just like, yo, Roddy reminds me a lot of Drake and how he samples stuff and how he switches in between rapping and singing. He gives me a lot of Drake vibes. And then More Than a Trend would be my favorite few tracks off the album. But yeah, overall, what I took away from the album is, like I said, bro, he just reminds me a lot of Drake, and I feel like that's gonna carry him far into the next chapter of his life, bro. But how do you think about it?
Real quick on that Drake tip, there was definitely what's called what was it? Not a Trend. Not a Trend that reminded me heavily of Drake, like circa like 2014. And there was also another part in that album, not from not that he sounded like Drake, but to me, like when he was rapping, it reminded me a lot of Dirk. What we've seen from Dirk over this past year or two. Definitely those. But for me personally, so off first listen, I liked it, but I felt like it was underwhelming. And I still feel that way after 3rd and 4th listens now, since we've had about 2 days to really listen to and really dive into it. Simply for the fact that I'm comparing this to, excuse me for being antisocial. Like, that was your second project. That was one of the best albums in music that came out that year, was nominated for a Grammy, had hits on top of hits on that. And with this one, so when I came into this one, I was expecting it to be, now I have a standard for Roddy that I set for him that I feel like he needs to be at all times now. Because now everything that I'm going on, everything after you release after that, I'm going to be comparing it to. That's just what it is. So now I expect you to meet a certain standard. And I don't feel like he really met it at this one with this album. Is this a good album? Yes. Did it grow on me after the first listen, first time around? Yes, it definitely did grow on me. And there were definitely a few songs on here that I really do like. But again, I feel like it was kind of underwhelming because I wanted more songs like 25 Mil. To me, that's the best song. That's my favorite track, probably the best song off the album. I wanted more songs like 25 Mil, where he's just really just going in on a beat. I wanted a little R&B section for about 3 or 4 songs. I thought I was gonna get that with No Way and with the Jamie Foxx at the end of it, transitioning into the Ty Dolla Sign, a little like interlude. I don't really want to call that song. I really call it more of an interlude. But I really didn't get that, and I wanted more songs like Late at Night, because I feel like Roddy's a really good R&B singer and artist when he gets into that bag. And I wanted just more of that. But yeah, overall, again, is this a good album? Yeah, it is. Again, I was just spending a little bit more, but no way is that a shot at him. Like, no way is that like a negative towards him. Again, it's just that me personally, I set him at a certain standard, as a very high standard that I expect him to meet. And also I was thinking about this too while listening to the album. For me, why it's kind of disappointing in a slight way, is that this album kind of reintroduced people to him into what made him really great. But as far as, you know, we've had a conversation on this podcast about being him in the same mix as Lil Baby, Lil Durk, Cordae, and as far as being like part of that new generation that's really gonna carry rap in the next 10 years, he did, you know, kind of reintroduce himself, but I feel like he didn't really separate himself from the pack like that.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that point, because I was ready to come in here and be like, oh, he took that top spot back. Like, even with me mentioning the bars, I felt like I knew that's how he was feeling coming into the album. I know he felt like that, but I feel like what he messed up was probably, and I can't really say messed up. We went through a world changing event. We went through a pandemic. We was locked in the house. He made a plan to come right back out with another album in 2020 to follow up his smash hit that he dropped at the end of December 2019, but he just had to stop and he couldn't do it because, oh, this is my touring album. I'm not gonna release it, period. And I definitely feel that, because off of the second album, Please Excuse Me, the main tracks on there are all slaps. You got Moonwalking, you got High Fashion, you got Backseat, you got The Box, you got War Baby, and off of my second and third listen on this album, I don't feel like many of those songs would be reached that level. Like, I don't think any of these songs are going to get where The Box went. But I feel like this song is more probably would suit better for like Roddy Rich fans, and probably not as more for like mainstream fans or like casual rap fans that are like, oh, I really don't know who Roddy Rich is. Let me listen to a few songs, and like they don't really hear a hit. And I'm like, oh, that's not really a good album. But I feel like for me, because I was so impressed with what he did with the last album, and it just made me a fan of just how he moved after the album, just how he was like, oh, go stream Taylor Swift shit. Like, I know I got my #1 spot. Like, go do that shit. Like, I'm cool off of that. Just the way confidence he exuded. I'm like, oh yeah, he's one of those young dudes. Just like a lot how Baby just moves like he's 45, but he's like 27. Like, him and Roddy and Durk all move like grown ass men. They don't have that same kiddie mindset that a lot of these rappers have. That's why I put them in that spot. And so I definitely feel like the work doesn't match what it was supposed to be, but I feel like the tracks, they might grow a little bit. They might build up. But as of right now, first listen, yeah, it's definitely like, oh no, this is the smash hit from Roddy Rich's new album. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't say it's any of those on here. But I feel like if you're a Roddy fan, he gave you some tracks that you could live with for a minute.
Yeah, nah, most definitely. And like you said, like the more you listen to this album, the more it does grow on you. Like Crash Party, for example. First listen, I was like, it was cool. that track in particular has really grown on me, especially at the end. Also, I want to say too, things that I thought worked well on this album. The production, you mentioned it a little bit earlier. The way that he really used samples in this album around was really good and really dope. The way that he was able to do that and really just come on every track and really just do his thing on. I want to say that, and then on Crash Party in particular, hearing his little, giving his little talking segment right at the end of that track, basically talking about like where he was right before he popped off, and just being in that mental state of just wanting to end it all, and just going over to his DJ house in the middle of the night and just that his DJ telling him like, yo, like keep your head up. Be like, you're gonna be straight. Just keep, get refocused and do what you gotta do to really make it out here, make a name for yourself like that. I thought that was really cool and really dope to hear, just because Rowdy is such kind of like a quiet guy. We really don't hear much about him at all. So I thought that him giving a little glimpse into him giving us a little glimpse into that side of him being a little bit vulnerable in that moment, I really did appreciate that. I thought that was super dope too. Yeah, like I said, overall it's a good album. Like, it's a good album. Like, if you're a Roddy fan, I think you'll enjoy this album for the most part. But it's a good solid piece of work.
Yeah, man. And Roddy he's a hit maker, man. I'm sitting here thinking in my head, I'm like, the man could low-key do a verses right now off his first 3 albums. Like, that's the type of hits he put out in such a short amount of time. And I feel like that kind of spoils us a little bit when we get some lesser music. And he might, that's what I'm saying, he might fall into that Drake box where it's like, oh, if it's not a smash, we not trying to hear that. Like, I came on here last week and killed CLB. I listened to it and I'm like, this album is fire, bro. Like, this album is fire, bro. Like, sometimes your greatness will skew what the hell people look at it. It's like, damn, like,
yeah, like it can be like kind of a double-edged sword. So it's like, okay, you have a certain standard that people want you to be at, but so when you put out something that's not as good, people are gonna kill you for that. Even though that thing that you released is better than what most people are putting out.
Exactly, bro.
It's just that you sent that kind of precedent for yourself at this point. It's like, okay, this is what I can do. Like, I am a really good artist. I can put out really good fucking music. I can make a banger of an album. I can make an album that's gonna have 6, 7 songs that are gonna be on top 100. I have that capability in me. And so when we don't see that in the next project or the next LP or something like that, we're going to say like, hey, like, we're going to say it's underwhelming to a degree. So,
yeah, but I love when like my favorite artists, quote unquote, have like not favorable albums when I think they're fire, because I know the next album is about to be craziness. Like, it's about to be crack. Like, everybody not fucking with CLB. Drake's dropping next year. It's gonna be like, oh my god, why did we talk about Drake? We woke him up again, and now he's about to run for another 10. I feel like CLB, he was like, all right, I'm taking a break with y'all. Oh, y'all talking shit about me? Okay, I'll come back. I'll come back.
Yeah, most definitely. Shout out to Roddy. I'm trying to think. As far as new music, that was really the only thing on my radio. I know Chia Keef released something. I heard from what I've seen, I heard that it was decent, it was good. I'm trying to think, whatever. Anything, like nothing really else like came across my.
I was underwhelmed with that Ross album last week. I'm not even going to cap. It wasn't the same Ross wealthy cloth talk that I was used to. It just feel like he wasn't that inspired with the album. I feel like he was just trying to get over it. I feel like it's a hit or miss with these albums in the pandemic time. Like, it could either be I was really working on this and I like, this is my soul and I put my soul into this, like I feel like a Summer's album, like she put her soul into that shit. Like, whatever she was going through in the pandemic, we heard that on the album. Like Kanye Donda, I feel like he really put his soul into that and we could just feel it. And then there's some albums just like, all right, I'm just working. I got to release an album. I got to do something. I got to make some type of money. And the touring is iffy. So I might tour, I might not. So let me just put these songs together, see how the people rock with it. And if it hits, it hits. And I feel like you could catch an artist on either one of those sides. And that's what I've just been seeing with a lot of albums lately. Like, it's either, oh, he was really going crazy or he didn't care about this. So I feel like that's going to be a trend as we keep going through this pandemic. It's just, how are people dealing with what's going on?
Yeah, and like people, they kind of just need to be outside and really just be interacting with other people, really be in tune with their culture in order to really put out a great piece of work. When some people are introverts, some people are extroverts. Some people can put out a great piece of work while sitting inside and not leaving the room for like 4 days.
Oh, I do know what happened in the culture that we forgot to talk about, man. Freddie Gibbs and Mr. Jim Jones, the squabble at Prime One. So why are these?
Wait, whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, so I am lost on this. This did not come up on my radar. Inform me, please.
Mr. Freddie Gibbs and Mr. Jim Capo Jones of Dipset got into a squabble in Prime 112 and in Miami, and reports say that Mr. Gibbs was stumbling like an old drunken master out there. Yeah, he got the beats put onto him. He got the beats put onto him in a steakhouse, and it's like, why are these old niggas fighting right now? Like, and then the only thing I don't like, bro, is after the fight, Gibbs did the typical corny shit that niggas do after the fight. They get on the camera and how I'm looking, man. I think I'm good right now. And it's just like, bro, we know you got in a fight. Even if you got your ass beat, you might not have a cut, but that don't mean you didn't get your ass beat, my boy. Like, what are you doing this for? And then he posted something as tour dates him like, and he highlighted New York. He's like, I can't wait till I'm in New York, guys. And then Jim said his next album title is gonna be Prime 112. So
why not? Why not? Why not?
So the smoke is back into the industry, and with this one, I don't like it, man. I don't like it because these men, they too grown to be doing this, bro. And it could have went bad. We could have been like, and especially with those dudes and who they hang around, bro. Jim Jones could have had a little hungry shooter there, like bitch ass little Tim, and just be like, oh, you touching my man's pow. Now it's, oh shit, Freddie Gibbs is dead, and now we're all sad again. So I just feel like as these two old heads, they too old, they in their 40s, late 30s to be coming on the gram and doing my face is not scratch move. Like, didn't we learn from T.I. where they at though? Like, that was the last old head I wanted to see do that shit, bro. And we still have to get into the psychological of why the fuck did T.I. try to fight Floyd? Like, why was that ever a thing that T.I. tried, bro? Like, my nigga, he's a boxer.
Bro, honestly, to me, it all just goes back to ego. Like, as a rapper, you have to have a massive ego. Like, that's how you maneuver. That's what sells.
If Jay-Z is not gonna have no ego with Mike Tyson, nigga. If Jay-Z gonna be like, you got it, Mike. Mike is tripping tonight. Like, I ain't going.
But right. But like sometimes that ego can overrun logic. Like I think we've seen that all in real life. Like I think we all know that one person that is just so full of himself or just so brazen, where sometimes he can't think logically. You be like, yo, I'll knock his ass out, this, that, and that thing, that, and you're just like, bro, no, you cannot. Like, stop it. What are you doing? And sometimes that ends up being the pitfall for a lot of guys. Like honestly, I think that's just really what it comes down to.
Hey, let me give advice to all these rappers that might be confused by their ego. Yo, T.I. don't fight Floyd Mayweather. Freddie Gibbs don't fight any guy who never keeps his braids maintained. They're not the dudes you want to fight. They're not the guys that you want to fight. They're a dangerous breed. They don't care about much stuff. So just leave them alone. Simple as that.
Yeah, and like now hearing that, like damn, like I am kind of I'm disappointed at Freddie because like he should know better at this point. He should know better. Like come on now.
And we know Mr. Academics had a ball with this one. And it was a sad thing because it's like, what, you can't say shit to Academics though, because the same shit you be wishing on him, it happened to you, my boy. So it's just like, and then you ran onto the net like something he probably would have did too. So it's just like, next time y'all beefing, I'm just gonna like both of y'all are clowns. So I'm just not watching this shit right now. But
like that ass, like Freddie Gibbs, you've been in the game for too long to be acting like you 20 something, bro. Like come on.
Too damn like even the young dudes is not moving like that. The young dudes is real discreet what they doing. Like we barely see fights. All we do see is shootings. But
that's the only thing we do see, right? Yeah. But I think that comes with, like that just comes in like just the difference in generation. So Because Freddie and Jim, they come from the era where it's just like, yo, we got a problem, we gonna sell it on site.
I'm glad they squared up. I'm glad that happened, bro. But I still want the tapes to come out, bro. I know there's a footage of that fight, bro. I just want to see Mr. Gibbs just flying across tables, steaks flying and shit. Nigga get hit in the back of the head with a T-bone. Like, what the fuck was this?
Seeing the T-bone flop off Freddie Gibbs' bald head would be hilarious, bro.
I'm not fighting nobody in Dipset. That's the number one rule. I'm not fighting Dipset, man. They
crazy.
They coached out Jay-Z while they were still signed to the nigga. I'm not fighting them, bro. They don't have logical thinking, bro.
So crazy, bro.
Nigga, Joel Santana brought a loaded gun to the airport, guys. What are we doing?
Thank you. Take the fuck. Nah, bro. We all saw freaking Cameron paid in full. We know how crazy it is.
People really think he's
acting. No,
that's him. That's really him. And then they was like, yo, Cam, you can stop. Like, we cut the cameras 2 years ago. What the fuck are you doing?
Nah, he's still Rico. Like, come on now.
And then you want to fuck with the shooter of the group. This nigga wasn't even rapping at first. He was strictly there for muscle, nigga. Like, he was strictly there for muscle and 5 ad-libs, man. And this is the one you want to fight. And this is the one you want to fight. All right, bro. All right.
Oh man. Old dudes getting into squabbles. Actually, speaking of that, there's a freaking we have a new celebrity boxing match coming up. Fucking Darren Williams and Frank Gore is gonna be boxing. I'm just like, all right, cool. Again, like, bro, if you need the money, like, I understand it.
What the fuck is going on in the world, bro? What? Darren Williams, what are you doing, bro? What?
Like, apparently, like, he gave an interview before they just had their weigh-ins yesterday, and basically said, like, his agent hit him up one day. He was just like, yo, like, Frank Gore wants to fight somebody, you know, would you be interested? And he was just like, all right, sure, like, why not? Like for him, he's kind of like, all right, this is just kind of something that I'm doing. At the same time, I'm also kind of check for it too. So it's like, I don't know, like, I'm really not trying to see a boxing match between two random professional athletes unless they have beef.
It's no, what is tying me to this? Have you fucked each other's girls? Like, it's no smoke.
Like, there's no beef whatsoever.
Are y'all just about to have a friendly fight? I don't want to watch this. I don't want to watch a friendly fight. I don't. I don't.
Like, that's all it is, bro. That's all it is going to be.
Man, Jake Paul, y'all ruined boxing, man. That's all I'm gonna say, bro.
Nah, that's a fact.
Y'all ruined boxing. Like, I'm not trying to see Darren Williams, nigga. Like, fuck, get Darren Williams and Chris Paul in the ring. That's some shit I want to see. Like, get niggas that have beef, nigga. Like,
come on, bro.
Like, get Adam Gaze and Frank Gore or some shit. I want to see some shit like that. Like, get niggas that have some type of tension, something. Like, what the fuck are we doing?
Exactly, because how are you gonna like promote this just as like, oh, these are two like former athletes, like. Former athletes just go at it with each other. Like, all right, but like, is there beef? Like, is there tension? Like, because at the end of the day, like boxing is promoted on beef. It's promoted on the tension, on the smoke. And if there is no smoke, they fabricate it. Fabricate it. They're not gonna fabricate. Darren Williams and Frank Gore, both of them dudes are too nice, too cool to even fabricate some type of beef like this.
Bro, there's only like one fight that I want that to have in a ring between professional athletes. And that's probably fucking CP and Rondo. That's the only one I want to see. I want to see them two squabble out in the ring. Other than that, I'm cool off y'all, bro. Like, I'm cool off it. I don't care who you have beef with. But them two, I want to see them get it out. So if after the professional career is up, winner gets the next coaching job in the league. That we gotta set up like that. Winner is the next head coach of some team, bro. Like,
nah, I think I might give Rondo the advantage in that just because of his long ass wingspan.
Yeah, his wingspan, and he's been waiting to kill CP for 10 years, so he's just gonna come into the ring ready to get
Chris Paul, leading up to it, Chris Paul gonna be feisty, like he always is. Like, he's always gonna be saying some type of slick shit, you know, leading up in the pressers and just leading up to the fight. But when they're actually in that ring, Rondo's gonna be the silent, cold killer, bro. Like that shit always be what's going on.
You're just gonna see Brandon Ingram in the crowd with a hoodie on, like in case anything go wrong, I'm right here. Like I'm right here.
Brandon Ingram gonna be ready to jump in the ring at a moment's notice. At a moment's notice, Rondo go down at any point. You're gonna see Brandon get up real quick.
It'll be like WWE. Wait, somebody's got to get a ring. It's Brandon Ingram.
Brandon gonna stand up. And he gonna have his hand in his hoodie pocket. Like that's what's gonna happen. You see Rondo go down. Wait, hold on.
Bro, now that we talk about this, and we can end it after this, bro. The funniest part of that fight video, bro, and God rest his legend soul, is Nip standing up and pulling up his pants like who the fuck was Nip fighting? Nip, who were you about to fight at this? Like, what side were you gonna be on? Like, who was you squabbling with?
Like, I'm assuming he was on Rondo's side just because he was wearing the Lakers jersey. Like I'm assuming that was
it could have been for Rondo. He was trying to make sure Harden wasn't gonna get touched. The LA vibes, like, what was the ties there? Like, why were you like? What made that nigga so angry? Like, why would
but like, I don't even think it was necessarily the Harden ties of trying to protect Harden because that boy pulled up his pants like he was out it. He was out it. He was ready to step on that court in case some shit popped off.
It's like, Nip, nobody was going to hit you, nigga. We all fuck with you.
No one was going to come after Nip. Some dudes didn't even realize Nip was in the crowd, was on the sidelines behind the basket until that play, bro. People was doing 3 replays. Wait, hold on. Who's that? Is that Nip? Is that Nipsey Hussle? Why is he pulling his pants up? Wait, what? Like, what? Like, shout out to Nip and God rest his soul, bro, for giving us that legend name on it. But again, what the fuck are you about to do? Like what the hell were you about to do in that situation between Rajon Rondo and Chris Paul, bro?
Like, what the fuck, bro?
Like, NBA players don't really fight like that. Like, you should know that. Like, my thing is, like, bro, Nip as a street dude should know when there's a real fight about to pop off. And that was not going to be a real fight.
I think Nip probably thought it was about to be some malice at the palace shit. He just had to get his squabbles ready, nigga. He didn't know who was going to start fighting. It's like, anybody come this way, they getting slept. Nigga. Like, stay like that.
I mean, stay ready so you don't have to get ready, I guess.
Literally, when nothing was going to harm you, nigga, right?
What's going to happen? Rest in peace, Nip, bro.
Right,
we gonna wrap it up. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. Like, share, subscribe, all of that. Yeah, we gonna catch y'all in the next one.